Guy, how are you coping with your current salary? I mean, how? One tomato is 100 naira. I don't want to talk about rice or beans, so don't even talk about yam. Have you observed that people don't buy yam tubers again, or they all buy half tubers? So today, we're going to trash out the minimum wage issue as informed working class members, okay? Labour says it is 250k or nothing. Federal government says it is 60k that they can afford. And they say when two elephants fight, only the grasses suffer. In this case, we are the grasses, the working class. Now, but before we carry placards and take sides in this matter, okay, maybe we should look at all the sides to the argument. First and foremost, the average family size in this country now is made up of 5 people, father, mother, and 3 children. Oh, forget all the rest about family planning. You know, Nigerian men know they listen. People are still having 3 children. And no matter how much any family loves fasting, each person will still spend not less than 600 naira per day on food alone. Now, who is talking about balanced diet here? Forget it. Just something to keep body and soul together. Now, let's do the maths. Multiply that 5 by 600, and that gives you 3,000 naira per day for that family. For the 30 days that make 1 month, that makes how much? 90,000 naira on food alone. Now, we still have utility bills, so medical bills are there, transportation, rent, and so many other expenses are there. So if labor settles for the 60k that federal government is proposing, before you even collect the salary at the end of the month, you're already in debt of 30,000 naira because you are expecting 60k and you have spent 90k on food alone. So you see why this is a battle that labor will fight with everything they have. That's number 1. Number 2, I did not mention anything about the salaries or perceived salaries of all these politicians or all the allowances. No, I did not talk about. So you don't say I am making the working class hate those in power. They are our people and we love them, okay? Number 3, the working class too want to say bye-bye to poverty now. I beg. Who wants to be poor forever? No, nobody now. And when you pay them higher, they live better. They say that it will make them become more productive and improve the economy. Some say they will not be job hunting every 3 months, and this will bring some stability to the system. I agree. And when you look at the arguments they put forward, you can't but agree that yes, it is either 250k or nothing. But then somebody said all the sympathizers, all the spending helpers that will help you consume that increase, they are doing press up. Let's look at the reality of that 250k minimum wage. Now, let us assume that labor is even able to win the battle and force the federal government to pay the amount of money. Don't forget that 250k will be for entry-level workers, so it means that those who are above will have their salaries upwardly reviewed. Now, this is it. The current minimum wage in Nigeria is 30k. Abi, 250k is about 733% increase. Yes, 733% increase. The cleaner will collect 250k. The driver, the gateman, and others in that category, they will earn at least 250k per month, which is good. But that Surah that is earning 100k per month now will most likely earn over 800k per month as a civil servant. Wait. This minimum wage verdict will not be limited to civil servants alone. Okay, my friend who works in the private sector and is collecting 500k per month now will now earn over 4 million naira monthly. Jeez, this sounds good on paper. Who doesn't want to be a millionaire? I want to be one anyway. But this is what will happen in real life. Number 1, first, let's go back to the government. Where will the wage increase come from? Now, before you tell me that after all we have oil to sell, hear this. Nigeria loses 636 billion naira revenue as oil production dips. Now, I did not come up with those figures, so not be me talking. It is a major headline in the Punch newspaper of Sunday, 23rd of June, 2024. Now, go and check it. We are still heavily dependent on crude oil. That's what we export. And the global oil market will not say, okay, let us increase your quota because you just want to increase minimum wage. As a matter of fact, between January and May this year, we produced less oil and the naira suffered in the forex market. In simple working class language, we got poorer as a nation. It means that government will have to look elsewhere to raise the money. Now the question is, where? Don't ask me. Now, they either resort to borrowing from international funding organizations But all of us know that there is no economic sense in that. You can't be borrowing to pay salaries. That is a sure formula for bankruptcy. Apart from that, we have borrowed so much that our unborn great-grandchildren will have to pay part of the debt that we are borrowing now. That is like mortgaging their future, and these guys are very innocent souls, okay? So if borrowing is not sensible, then the government will have to look inwards and tax everything taxable. Hey, they will tax the air you breathe in. They will tax the excreta you pass. Your going out will be taxed. Your coming in will be taxed. And unfortunately, many of you, yes, many of you, you are not used to paying tax in this country. Now show me your tax card and I will tell you if you are paying tax. Now leave that one alone. Number two, let's go to the private sector. It means that the lowest paid employee there would also collect 250K per month. How many private companies in this country can honestly afford that? Now, only two options will be left to them, okay? Number one, they either sign secret agreements with their workforce to pay below the minimum wage. Number two, they can embark on downsizing. And you know what that means? They will sack people. Only those that are critically needed to get the job done will be retained. The rest of them will be sent back home to your tent or Israel. Now, they either do this or they go bankrupt and shut down. Either way, massive job losses will happen. Number three, the market women are waiting for you there. They are not blind though, and they have heard in the news that your salary has just been increased crazily. They are not on anybody's payroll, yet they too must have their own share of the national cake. It's the national booty. Now, one tomato will now become 1,000 naira. You may not even have the luxury to eat onions, and that becomes a luxury. Everything in the market will go up automatically. So the increase you think you have gets slashed massively again. Then you get home, number four, and your landlord is having a fight with his wife who thinks he is not man enough to take care of the family again. The moment your landlord sees you, that is answered prayer. His problem is over. He will come on courtesy visit in the evening and bam, your rent has just increased. One regular room in Shomolu now becomes 3 million naira per annum. And once again, the increase in your salary gets slashed. Number five, the transport unions. They will pass on you too. They play in the same market like you, and they can only think of just one way to survive: increase transport fare. Lagos to Ibadan now becomes 20K, and the shortest distance within the city becomes like 2K per trip. Voila. Hey, when the going gets tough, the tough doesn't get going. No, only a foolish tough gets going. The wise tough sits down and calculates. You will now get sense and do the arithmetic: wage increase versus living cost. For the minimum wage to really make sense, this is what the equation should look like. Wage increase should be greater than living cost. But for the majority of the working class, this is what the equation will look like. Wage increase will be less than living cost. The reason is very simple. Wage increase happens arithmetically. Living cost happens exponentially, or what they say, they call geometrically. One is simple addition, the other is complex multiplication. So, which way to go? Am I saying we should not fight for minimum wage increase? No, why will I say that when I'm not crazy? But I asked informed people what can be done, and here is what they had to say. These are not my own opinions. Number one, they said gradual increase and indexation. They said that a gradual increase in the minimum wage is more realistic. It gives businesses and the economy the time to adjust. Well, they also said we should look at future increases and link it to inflation and productivity growth to ensure that wages remain relevant without causing economic shocks. That is the first thing they said. Number two, they proposed regional differences. They said we could implement region-specific minimum wages that reflect the cost of living and economic conditions in different parts of Nigeria. All of us know that rent in Lagos is not the same as rent in Shagamu, with due respect to those who live in Shagamu, and this makes sense to me. So the approach can help balance the benefits and drawbacks across diverse regions. Number three, they are saying we should support SMEs and businesses. Government should support SMEs and businesses. We could provide tax incentives, subsidies, or grants to small and medium enterprises to help them absorb the increased labor costs without reducing their workforce. That makes sense also. Number 4, they are proposing comprehensive social safety nets for the people. Some say the government should complement minimum wage policies with other social safety programs such as food assistance or health care and education subsidies to improve the overall well-being of low-income workers. And number 5, they are proposing regular monitoring and evaluation. Some say that the government should establish a body to regularly review the impact of the minimum wage on employment, inflation, and poverty levels, and they should use this data to make informed adjustments, to the policy. In the UK, for instance, the national minimum wage is reviewed annually, that is yearly, by the Low Wage Commission, LPC. Recommendations are made based on economic data, consultations, and assessments, and the government typically, listen to me, the government typically accepts the recommendation and adjusts the minimum wage accordingly. So, I just presented to you all the sides to the minimum wage debate. Now, what's my own recommendation? Nothing, hey, Mike. You are the judge and the jury here. Drop your thoughts in the comment section and please subscribe to my channel if you haven't. That is Informed Working Class today. I'll see you next class. Class dismissed.